Good morning and welcome to Hummingbird Acres. We have been on the acres for the weekend, getting some chores done and just making some progress. So I'm going to share some video clips with you guys today of what we got done and the different things that we are trying to do around the acres. All right, guys, we just got here not too long ago. It is definitely a lot more overgrown than I thought it was going to be, and have a lot of work to do before we can start planting. And we've got to plant because I brought all of those plants down. So I am going to start up that brush mower that's sitting over there, and we're going to see how much I can get done. I ended up not filming much with the brush mower just because I put my head down and got to work so I could get it all cleaned up so I could actually do what I wanted to do, which is put the boxes in, fill them with soil, put down the landscaping mesh, and as you can see here, I am burning all of the holes for all of our plants. So we are going to grow in landscape mesh in this garden. If you want to know more about that, I will leave a link below for you. Because we grow a lot, this is a great way for us to keep the weeds down and kind of minimize some of our garden chores. And we just also think it looks for a prettier garden. So I am burning holes for our two smaller beds, kind of in like my cottage garden area. This bed here will be for flowers. No, I'm sorry. This bed is going to be our basil. And then the other bed is going to be flowers. So now I burned holes in both, and I am planting the zinnias. I am planting these as deep as I can. They didn't have too many leaves, so I didn't want to plant them too deep. But planting the zinnias, and then I had some extra holes, so I will fill those in with either more zinnias or cosmos when we go down the next time. I also planted basil, and I planted some of our pepper plants and got those beds all set up and ready to go. The small beds are planted, and now I'm going to move on to the bigger beds. These will eventually be our like vegetable garden. But this year I had so many dahlias that I needed to plant those somewhere. I had them all in pots, and they were just getting way too big for the pots, and they needed to get planted in the beds. So I decided we were going to end up using 2 of our 4 large garden beds for dahlias. The only exception is the area in front of the trellises where I planted loofah gourds on one side, and then on the other side I planted cucumbers. So right here I am planting the loofah gourds, and then on the other side I'll plant the cucumbers. But I planted everything else in this bed are dahlias. I did 2 rows of dahlias, and then when I go down the next time I will trellis them. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to trellis them yet, but I will trellis them because we do get some high winds and some big storms, and we got one while we were down there. So definitely thinking about that. But planting all of this made my heart happy, and it was great to do it with my godmother and my godfather, and we had so much progress. So I didn't film much this weekend, mainly because when we got here, I was so overwhelmed by how horrible everything looked that I really just put my head down and got to work. So I'll throw a picture up here of what this looked like when we got here. And I have to say, I am so proud of us. We got the 2 end boxes, we got them set and we got them filled. We got these 2 boxes covered, planted, and we got the arch on it. We also got these 2 smaller boxes filled, and we got the tarp on these as well. And these are partially planted, they're not fully planted, but super excited about that. And then Jamie and I, yesterday before the storm, we started working on the fence for this area. We kind of had to stop because it was thundering and lightning and the kids wanted to eat dinner. But I have to say, this makes me feel so much better just to have this area started and some good progress. We even figured out a water system for it and how to get water down here. And yeah, I'm super, super excited. All right, guys, I'm going to give you the first tour of our garden. Definitely a work in progress, but I am so loving it. So this is the entrance. You come in through here, and we have 2 beds over here. Half of this bed is basil. We have regular basil and then cinnamon basil, and then we still have to plant that back part there. And then this bed here, the front 9 holes are peppers, and then zinnias back there. And I'm going to fill in the rest of this with zinnias when I come down in June. So got all of that. I did put a table here for us to work on just to make it a little bit easier. It had an umbrella, but we got a storm last night, so that is now on the ground. Hanging baskets. Jamie's gonna pick up some sweet potatoes to plant in those, and then I'll probably do flowers in the other two, just something pretty and like cascading down. This bed is our dahlias, and then against the trellis, we have our loofah gourds. And then I have our ginger plant. This got beat down by the storm, so I had to put some stakes in it to help hold it up. Hopefully that will recover. So those loofah gourds will go up and over this trellis that's here, and it will come down to this other side. And on this side is the cucumbers, and then we have more dahlias here. I had a lot of dahlias this year that I needed to get in the ground, so they took over 2 beds. This bed here will be tomatoes. Our tomatoes are a little scrawny because I started them late, which I'm perfectly fine with. So we will plant this in a couple of weeks. And then this bed, we will also plant out. Jamie messaged me this morning and said that he had seed potatoes. So I think we're just gonna put seed potatoes in this and see how it does. It was kind of just an extra bed. So we'll just experiment and see. We are working on putting up the fencing. So I got most of it done, and then Jamie will just have to do this little section up here. He'll probably get to it this weekend because it's supposed to rain. But there is our little garden. Like I said, definitely a work in progress, but something I am really excited about. I did forget to mention these barrels, they have canna lilies in them. So they'll be nice and tall and very welcoming as you come in.